Welcome to the Reed & Harrison Yardmaster workshop. My name is Matt and today I'm going to be showing you how to do a basic service on an HSS separator. First up, we're going to disconnect the power. Isolate any pumps feeding the equipment. Once the power has been disconnected, we're going to remove the rubber booty so we can get the body off. I'm sliding that down. Next up, we're going to remove the weight off the front gates. Then we're going to remove the solids outlet assembly. For that, we'll use a 24mm ring spanner. Once they're loosened, I'm going to use a power ratchet. Once all 6 bolts have been removed, we can now lift it off. Next up, we will remove the body. Again, 24mm ring spanner. So we have 2 nuts on the top, 2 nuts on the bottom, and a bolt either side. Sometimes the body may need a little bit of persuasion. We can slide it off just like that. Now we're just going to loosen up the screen bolts. 17mm ring spanner. Once we have them loose, I can change over to a power ratchet, save a bit of time. We can take out any shims. And slide the screen off. We can feel up and down the screen to see if there are any wear marks, tears, or breaks. And then we will check the urethanes. Again, checking for wear, rub marks, tears, and missing or broken pieces. Here we can use a pair of vernier calipers to check the outside diameter of our auger. It should read from factory 346mm. We also want to be checking the bisalloy wear plates at the end of the auger. If these are worn, they need to be replaced. If the urethanes need to be replaced, you will need either a 17mm ring spanner or an adjustable wrench and a 5mm Allen key. Before removing the urethane, it is best to mark where the joins are. So when we put our new urethane back on, we can make it exactly the same. Once the fasteners have been removed, we can take off the urethane. You'll find sometimes the urethane has been glued on. Once the urethanes have been removed, we'll just give the auger a clean. And using a permanent marker, we'll mark the centres of the holes. So from the top of the stainless steel to the centre of the hole is 10mm. The profile of the urethane is 5mm thick on top. We will be marking a total distance of 15mm from the top of the urethane down. An easy way of marking this is using a combination square. and marking around with a permanent marker or a paint pen. Next up, we'll place on our new urethane. Ensure it is hard up against the Bisalloy wear plate. Then using our marker, we will mark in line with the centre. And using our marker, we can line up the red mark where our joint is and make a cut. So our urethane is the correct length. We're going to use a combination square so we get a nice square cut. To cut the urethane, I'm using a Stanley knife. Once we have all our hole centres marked, we can start with a 4mm pilot drill. Second size hole is an 11mm. So now we have an 11mm hole in our urethane. Most commonly this will be done on site. Might pay to take a little piece of plywood so you can do it on the base of the platform. So now we have our urethane cut, it can be assembled back onto the auger. Just remember to remove all the swarf from the inside. Now we have our new urethane fitted, we can bolt it back on. On the bolt threads we want to use some sort of Loctite or thread locker. In this instance I'm using a 243 blue Loctite. It's important to apply even pressure through all the fasteners so we do not get any distortion in the urethane. We want to tighten the fasteners up to 4 Newton meters. On newer models where we have an M8 half nut, we can use a torque wrench 13mm socket. We need to replace the Bisalloy wear plate. Same again, undo the Allen key. Now we'll replace the worn wear plate with a new one. It's a good idea to replace the fasteners at the same time, as you'll find that these can be quite worn. Once all the new urethanes have been installed, we will just check the OD, outside diameter, of our new urethane. We want to check that it is around 346mm. If there are any high spots that you find throughout the urethane, it could be due to drilling swarf caught underneath the urethane cap, or the fastening could be done up too tight and causing the urethane to bulge. Next up, we're going to remove this hatch. First of all, you want to remove any pipework off the top here. Then we'll use a 17mm socket or ring spanner to loosen the 12 bolts. Then for the front 3 bolts, we're going to use an 8mm Allen key or Allen key socket. First of all, we're going to check our gasket, see if there's any tears or rips where it might leak. and replace if needed. Then we will pop out our scrapers, check they're all still intact. If they're missing or major cracks or chips, they need to be replaced. These ones look good, so we're going to give them a clean and put them back in. We're going to check for any wear on the auger. We're going to pop this back on. Start with the 3 cap screws at the front. To adjust the scrapers, we will turn the machine on, wind down the adjusting bolts until they are firm and have contact, and they all feel the same, and we will give them another quarter of a turn against the auger, and then tighten the lock nut. While we are here at the back of the machine, we will check this notch under here to see if there's any liquid leaking out of the seals. Now is also a good time to check your gearbox oil. To get the screen bolt started, we're going to use some C-clamps. Take them over. Now we can reinstall our M10 bolts, again using some Loctite. In some cases you may need to use a pry bar to align the holes. Install the correct amount of shims as per the commissioning date and factory specifications. It's important to check that both sides of the screen are sitting down evenly on the urethane. We do not want one side of the screen higher or lower than the other. We can rotate the body, auger and screen to line up with our studs. When reinstalling stainless steel threads, it's always a good idea to use some anti-seize grease. I'm using copper coat here. Next up is our solid outlet. Now is also a good time to check the retaining clips on the door assembly. Now that our HSS separator is back together, we can attach a clamp meter to one of the 3 phases. Your HSS separator may need some fine tuning after the urethanes have been replaced. In this example, you can see that the machine is reading quite a high amperage. We will add in shims to the screen until the desired amount of amps is reached. It is important that the urethanes never run dry. If for some reason the pump cannot be used during this initial setup, a spray lubricant can be applied. You can see that the amps will drop by applying lubrication. As a general rule, we want the least amount of pressure on the doors without blowing a plug. This can be adjusted by sliding the weights up and down on the weight arm. To help get a plug started, we can put effluent solids, newspaper or cardboard in the solid outlet assembly.